very few ways to communicate now with people inside Iran that are safe and secure for them. And I have to say, I mean, Skype is one of these ways. It's probably the best way. The other thing, truth be told, is actually to speak to people on landlines, which I think are kind of neglected by the regime because everyone's so focused on a mobile phone, right? So real live landline, you can probably say anything you want on that. No one's ever going to hear you. So in terms of communication, that's the way to go. But you know, there are so many issues, and the regime has been very successful in the last 15 months in keeping people off the streets, making sure that the tools necessary for people to communicate with each other, and of course this is specifically with green movement, opposition people, that those things have been, really kept away from, from people. So, but that said, I don't buy into the thinking of some people that the green movement is dead, or that because we don't see it on the streets that it doesn't exist, that somehow the regime has won. I don't believe that for 1 minute. I think the regime knows that it has lost. One of the conclusions of this book is that the social contract that the regime had with Iranians themselves for all of these years, and that Iranian people who were still in Iran carried the burdens of this regime for a number of reasons, but that broke because and during the violence with what happened with this election. Nobody expected that the election would be stolen that way. Nobody expected the reaction of the regime in terms of a crackdown. I mean, just so many things happened that were unexpected. But the bottom line is that that anger still exists. That anger is still very widespread. And in terms of predictions, if you literally listed all the reasons why the regime would win, you'd say, okay, no change for 10 years. But one thing that I suggest to people is that every event that has been of significant in Iran over the last 15 years has been unpredictable and has just emerged. The election victory of Mohammad Khatami in 1997, even this election and its aftermath. So what I would posit is that what will happen someday is, and it could be soon, it could be tomorrow, there will be an event that will bring people onto the streets simultaneously, right, and instantaneously, and it will be done. For example, maybe Mousavi gets shot, right? Maybe the supreme leader chokes on his cello kebab. I don't know what it will be, but there will be something that we can't predict now that will prompt people to come out. And what will happen is you will have then the security forces who normally have been well prepared and everything for these different regime events coming out on the streets at the same time as the people. And what you'll find is that the people outnumber them in a very large way. And this will give new energy and new juice to this, green movement. I would expect something unpredictable like that will be what changes the dynamic, something we can't predict.